Good morning, everybody. You are tuned to Computers 2K Now on the Nissan Communications Network. I'm Amnon, your host for the next couple of hours, along with Mike.
Yeah, hello.
And Spence is here.
I am.
And Nick is here.
I'm not here.
Yes, you are here.
Okay.
Our number is 919-518-9773, Computers 2K Voice on Skype. And today's show is made possible by vMix Software, Telestream's Wirecast software, and is sponsored by Tom Sinclair of Live Streaming Gear. And we're live. Yep.
Hi.
So, right before we started the show, Mike was saying he's looking for a toolbox.
I have one that my son made when he was 4.
Yeah.
It's wooden with a little handle across the top. That's pretty good. I have one like that I bought at a garage sale. Oh, it was probably 35 years ago that somebody made by hand that I still use.
Mike, are you talking about a toolbox that will the drawers are deeper, right? Not like the 1.5 inch that the mechanics.
Correct.
Yeah.
Is there even a Sears store around? Is this the Sears store in Crabtree still open?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
I know that Ace Hardware sells Craftsman tools now. I got a replacement breaker bar there.
They're all made by the same crappy companies as the rest now.
But at least they just took it in, handed it to him, he handed another one, and that was it.
Yeah, a lot of them will do that, though.
I have a lot of, what is it, Lowe's brand tools. I bought it.
What?
It's good on the warranty, though. They had I took something back in there, and they said, "Where's the receipt?" And I said, "Well, let me see if I understand this. It's a house brand with a lifetime warranty, and you want the receipt. What's the purpose of the receipt?" "Well, we have to have it." I said, "Well, I'll tell you what, just go throw it in the trash can. Or you could frame it as the last one I'll ever buy from you."
That was Sears?
No, that was Lowe's.
Oh.
Yeah, that's not competing with the Craftsman brand then.
Well, I don't think this thing was. It was not an expensive tool. It was in fact, what it was a putty knife, and it had a warp to it. Probably when I bought it, it looked like the metal had relieved itself over time, and but they didn't carry it anymore. They couldn't find the barcode on it, and so I mean, just typical garbage.
I bought a set of mechanics tools, which sockets and so on. That was marked down. I guess it was probably 80% off when it was finally. I was watching it. I'd go in the store and I'd see it, and the price came down, 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 down. Finally got it, and really good price. I think I paid $70 for the set that cost $3 something, and it's still sitting in the box because I have so many other tools. I'm thinking, well, I don't have any kids to outfit. Maybe grandchildren if I last long enough. But
I think
or if I get a second house, I can.
Yeah, it wouldn't work too well either. I tried that, but I think what I'm going to do, what I was thinking about a while ago, is that like you, I have a lot of duplicate tools. I think what I'm going to do is go through the tools that I really don't use very often or that I have more than one of, even some brand new tools. Put them inside a plastic bag, put that plastic bag inside of an airtight plastic container with some desiccant in it, make a note of everything that's in that container, and store it in the garage way up on the shelves I can't normally reach.
Yeah. Use Ziploc bag and spray a little oil in them before you seal them.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I have a bunch of old mechanics tools that I got from my grandfather. I did that. Or machinist tools, I should say. Surface gauges and compasses and micrometers, things like that.
Yeah. I'm dealing with an issue right now. I'm not sure what to do about it. I've talked about it before, this radio console that I'm rebuilding. It has some 9-pin PC card edge connectors on it. And you can get them. I found out that they're still available. They're expensive, but you can get them, and you can actually put new pins in them. I mean, I could duplicate the connector completely. The problem is that it's a crimp connector. The tools to crimp these industrial connectors are anywhere from $150 to $350, and I'm not going to buy one for one connector. And the other part of the problem is that these are closed connectors, and when you push the pin up in it, it has a barb on it to keep the pin from pulling out. The only way you can get it out is with what's called a pin extractor. I think they're available, but the ones I saw were $150, so I'm not going to do that. I'm really in a pickle as to what to do about this thing. I'm actually thinking about trying to solder the wire to the pin. What happened is it came uncrimped, and I've spent a little bit of time trying to figure out how to solve it, and I'm not sure how to solve it.
I have to go back and look in my IBM Field Engineer kit, because I think I have a pin extractor.
Oh, I probably got 5 of them. The question is, whose horn is blowing? Somebody's horn's blowing. The alarm went off. I don't even think my car has an alarm, but I'm going to go.
Okay, we'll go check.
No, it went off. Actually, I would. I'll send you a picture of this connector, because it would have to be exactly the right size. And unfortunately, the pictures online, because it's such an old connector, the online pictures that these sellers have of these things are not complete. It almost needs to be a square tube, from what I can tell. I mean, the ones I have are round for round pins.
Yeah.
This one has a square opening. It's possible that there may be a round one to fit it. And in fact, the truth known about it, I may even have one to fit it and not know it, because these things, I mean, that's one of those tools that you use once every 3 years.
I have a pin straightener here that I keep in my little tool bin here on my desk, on my, well, it's really my computer workbench in my office. But this has got to be 30 something, maybe longer, older than that. Handy.
I'm looking for toolboxes on Home Depot, and this says portable toolboxes. I didn't type in portable. I typed in toolbox. Let me try something else. Tool chest combos, maybe? Yeah, here we go. Okay.
I like the idea of the rolling work surface, and I actually took an old, very well-made, Rubbermaid cart, and I said, I can't spend $350 even on that one that I was looking at, but what I did was I built an extension off the top of that to the work surface height that I need, because I'm taller, and below it is where I store all the drills and all that's, the chargers and all that, and I can roll it around. It's got a cord that I can plug it in anywhere in my garage, but I wound up costing me the time to build the extension, and that was it.
Yeah, I've got Amnon, that table saw I gave you, I need you to cut me a board on it.
Sure. No problem.
See, Amnon bit. I haven't given it to him yet.
Yep. You can come, and I can do it for sure.
I was struggling with where to put my table saw to get it out of the way in my garage. It was sitting in the middle of the floor for so long. I just took one of the wings off. It was probably 5 feet wide with both wings. I said, I don't need this. I don't need to have that right side wing, or I took the left side wing off. So as long as I can get the fence to work, then what am I going to cut that's that big that I can't just adapt something to hold the material?
It's
If
funny.
if there's something that big, I'm going to use a saw guide and clamps, and I'm going to do it.
I don't know. I never can get the line as straight as you do with a table saw. Woodworking people are some of the nicest people you'd ever want to meet, but they sure don't like sharing.
My
go on
uncle is the one. My uncle was taught himself to be a cabinet maker and made his own cabinets, but he showed me how to use a saw guide. Very simple clamps and just how to measure. He would cut stuff out just by eye, and he would put it together. And it's like, how did you? And he'd measure it to fit into a space, and he'd just slide it right in there. It'd be perfect.
Yeah, takes talent.
Well,
That's what's nice about
too.
those.
I mean, you got to just do it over and over and over again and fail, and then you eventually get to the point where you can do it. I haven't bought a professional. I like to buy a professional saw guide, but I haven't found anything that's worth the money because it just looks so cheap.
There's some good ones out there. If you go to the North Carolina Woodworker website, they've evaluated several. I believe it's the DeWalt or one of those that works about as well as the Festool, which is the cream of the crop.
Have you ever been to that tool supply on 55 in Durham?
Powell?
I think that's it. It's right on on the west side of 55, just before you get up to 40.
Right beside Golden Corral.
Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
It's a pretty good place.
The main thing they've got going for them is their repair shop. They'll fix about anything from what I understand.
And you know who has decent tools is the Tractor Supply.
Oh, they got the best propane prices in North Carolina.
Every place is different, but they have a pretty good supply. A Northern Tool also for certain things.
I don't know. Gene was saying check Northern Tool, I guess, for the toolboxes, but I was over there the other day, and every time I walk in there, I get this Harbor Freight feeling.
Oh no, it's true. But if you go I needed a tap, a specific metric size tap, and I got it there, and it was an American made. High quality. They didn't that stuff.
Well,
they didn't have.
American made or high quality?
It was both. Well, yeah, they're mutually exclusive.
I need to get one of these drum rim shots.
It's certain items, air compressor stuff like fittings and.
Don't buy air compressor there. The best
compressor
you can buy is California air compressor.
The fittings.
Yeah.
So I have an old.
You can get a 10-gallon compressor from Amazon, California pneumatic or whatever it is, $350 including shipping, and it's phenomenal.
I still have my old cast iron compressor running now for 35 years.
Yeah.
I need to get something bigger. It just doesn't deliver enough.
Yeah, this one they say does everything a woodworker could want.
What do you do with air when you're a woodworker? What
Low
tools? What tools?
Low weight sawdust.
Well, you have a nail gun.
Clean tools.
Nail gun. What else?
They just to blow things off, to blow the sawdust off of the chop saw.
Right, to blow air, an air gun.
Right.
And what other tools? What other air tools do they make?
Oh, unlimited, but I'm not an air tool person like an auto mechanic would be.
You see, so for that you don't need a lot of air delivery. I mean, when you're working with air wrench, and those need continuous high volume of air. So then you need.
But a cheap air compressor is going to cost you $100 and not going to last probably 5 years if you use it a lot. A $350 one it's almost impossible to break it. It'll last a long, long time, and I believe in spending whatever it takes to get the right tools.
Yeah, it's always a good thing. I mean, I had an air compressor that was there for almost 25 years, like you said, and it's my fault that it went bad. I did not check.
Drain the water out of it?
No, I did not check the oil, because there are some that are oilless and the old ones that are oiled. If it has a belt, it's oil. And it went dry.
Oh, I know what the benefit of that California one is, Spence. It's about half as noisy as the small ones, little small pancake compressors.
It's California what?
I'll find a link to it. I've got it saved.
Yeah, that's the one thing about the smaller, the newer airless. They are noisy.
Yeah, they're terrible.
California Air Tools?
Something like that. I'll show
Yeah,
you.
I see it here, yeah. I would like to get a vertical tank, something that delivers high CFM, because I'm about to paint my pickup truck this summer sometime. And I can do it with what I have. It's just that it runs so continuously when I'm painting that I get a lot of moisture in the.
Yep. That's the other thing, Amnon, is sprayers, LVP sprayers.
Yeah, yeah. Any tools that require air all the time, they need a lot of it. So I mean, John is saying, getting a larger tank can make a lot of difference. Sure does.
The reserve.
Larger the better.
And what I did when this one broke, I bought a cheap, well, $200, vertical 20, I believe it's 20-gallon tank from Harbor Freight. That's like 10 years ago. And I took the old one, the tank, the compressor that burned out. I took everything off of the top, and I connected the tank in line with that compressor. So I ended up with like a 50-gallon air storage, and it works great.
Of course it does.
Yeah.
In fact, that's really an interesting concept, is to add a tank to it. That sounds like something John would do. I put a link in chat for the particular one that was recommended.
All right. Let's see what else is happening in the world. Did you guys have something else? Nick, do you have any? Did Nick fall asleep?
Probably.
Mozilla is not happy with Facebook. Not happy at all. Having already started a petition to try and force the social network to do more about user privacy, the company has now decided to withdraw its advertising from the platform. The organization is voting with its money following the misuse of user data by Cambridge Analytica, as it tries to force Facebook into taking privacy more seriously. Mozilla says that it is not happy to financially support a platform that does not do enough to protect user privacy. But the company is not severing ties completely. It says that advertising is being paused, and that if the right steps are taken by Facebook, will consider returning. Now, there's a lot of things that are going out there. People are pulling their pages off of Facebook.
People say they're canceling their accounts, but I doubt they are. Facebook's the elephant in the room right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's just undeniable. It's really scary. In fact, there are even some discussions that they're getting so predominant in society that the government's thinking about regulating them. And that's why you see Zuckerberg panicking and starting to act like he gives a crap about people, is because he's trying to avert some government action. It'd be a really good time to get a campaign donation.
Zuckerberg has always struck me as a guy who isn't all that bright, who wound up with something that he sort of helped invent, and now is in command of this huge empire, and yet still isn't all that bright.
Well, how do you evaluate how bright a person is?
Well,
without meeting them.
I mean, he's not. It's like you look at you compare him to Steve Jobs, right? And Jobs, even though he had a bad personality, wasn't the nicest person, he still was very much in tune with what people wanted. And he didn't have a lot of failures. He had some, and they were colossal failures, but he learned from them, and he came out with products that now you look at Apple today and you say, Yeah, some of the people are still there from the design center who come up with the ideas, but there hasn't been anything revolutionary since Jobs was around.
I don't know. I'm not an Apple fan, and I would sort of disagree with that. I would say that the miniaturization that Apple has accomplished is an extraordinarily amazing technical feat to get all that technology into that small space.
Oh no, I agree. But what I'm saying is from a marketing perspective, from the next product that you need, there hasn't been anything I don't. Maybe there just isn't anything that can happen now.
Well, there's actually an interesting threat on the horizon, potential threat, long-term, long shot too. That I think Nick and we've talked about it somewhat offline, but Detroit is getting ready to have a major impact on mobile communications because someone expressed the sentiment that Detroit is committed to making a car actually a telephone on wheels. That's the way they're describing it, and that is that it will be totally integrated with technology. For example, when my daughter's in her car, she hooks her phone Bluetooth up to the radio so that she can do hands-free and not have to hold the phone, things of that nature. That Detroit and the real car companies are in fact trying to integrate that technology into the car itself instead of having it remotely connecting to the car so that they can get a piece of the action.
And maybe that would address some of the safety concerns if they can come up with an interface that would be less distracting.
It won't. It won't, because this is so silly. This is where politicians are so stupid, in my humble opinion. Because the business, like up in New York, Nick he could talk hands-free on the phone, but he could not hold the phone in his hand.
Right.
Show me research that says holding the phone in the hand is the destruction, whereas the fight you're having with your wife or girlfriend is not at all distracting from your driving. I
saw a study that said that the entertainment system in a car is more distracting than the phone.
It's possible.
And what about
I don't believe that, though. I think the most distracting thing in a car is a baby.
Right. I was going to say, what about all these people that carry kids in the back?
Well, the baby particularly, because you have to address the baby's needs instead of turning around slapping the kids.
Our parents were much better off at dealing with that because they could keep their eye on the road and smack you right in the head at the same time.
Yeah. Well, you develop that knack over time.
I'll never forget. Has to be 5 or 6 years ago. Following somebody down the road, Cary Parkway in particular, in the left lane. This woman was literally going up and down the curb on the median.
Oh,
up and down, up and down, up and down. I said, "Oh my gosh, she having a stroke? What's going on?" I pull up, she's on the phone. Just literally up and down the curb. I thought it was a medical emergency.
Well, it was. She probably had to get someone to set the DVR to record Dr. Phil.
That's it. This is before the Spectrum app was out, so you could remotely record.
Amazing. Amazing.
Yeah, the world is full of.
Mike, you're talking about. You guys are talking about the miniaturization. I read a story this week that IBM introduced an x86 computer. And it fitted all in a size that's like a grain of salt. I mean, it's just for some kind of anniversary they showed an x86 in a size of grain of salt.
But the only thing that will run on it is Lotus 123.
Well, I don't know. Yeah.
And Apple will start making them and kill the battery life to half. Speaking of which, my wife's phone, I put a new battery in her phone. It was lasting 2 days. Now it's running down twice a day, and it's only been a couple of months.
Was it a
really
authentic battery?
Yep.
Who knows? But it was.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Northern Tool has this Excel 72-inch metal roller tool cabinet with 14 drawers for only $2,000. Let me see
A
if I can
bargain.
get one of those today.
You don't even want. Are you looking for a metal one or?
I don't know what I want yet.
Because there are some
I'm gonna
nice
get
wooden
this
ones
desk.
too.
Look behind me, guys.
That's not going to help.
It will, because at least I'll get the tools all in one place.
No, tools are meant to be scattered everywhere.
Y'all don't even see you can see the
You-
test equipment and all that I
you-
need to put on the bench. See, I need to build a workbench. These two tables stacked behind me are just there temporarily.
Yeah,
Ha-ha.
but you don't have big tools
I
in
do
what
downstairs.
in what you're doing behind you.
I do downstairs.
Yeah, but not. I mean, in the room there. I mean, the tools that you're using for doing this kind of work, they're
Elevator.
elevate. Oh, you need an elevator. A drone.
I have one.
Yeah.
My
'cause-
idea for a tool center for my garage, I would love to do this, I just don't know when, is to take a 4x8 sheet of plywood, and that'll be the work surface,
Mhm.
cut it in half, and make it into a workbench that can be opened up as 2 feet by 8 by 16 feet long, or 4x8 when you close it, and have all drawers and cabinets in the base, and have it all on wheels. You can push it over to the side. You pull it out, use it that way, open it up and push it against the wall as a 2 by 16 feet. Problem is I don't have any wall space left.
You need a truck to move it around.
No, if it was on wheels, it would be okay. I mean, I have those steel wire steel racks now on casters in my garage, and I got like 600 pounds on it. It rolls around fine. OS2, yeah, there we go. OS2. That was how Microsoft brought IBM to its knees with operating systems.
Arnie, just put in the chat which CDN were you using when it disappeared? I'm just wondering if it was. What am I watching? I'm watching on Mixer. Yeah. It's just interesting that one person loses the stream. Anyway, where's Nick?
Oh, Amnon.
There he is. He's there. Oh, he's doing stuff.
I just got back.
Okay,
Well, you guys
okay,
are talking about tools. I don't have anything to talk about tools. So.
Yes, you do.
No, I don't.
Yeah, I got a good story you'd be interested in, Nick. And Amnon, we talked about this past week about the embedded information in the blockchain for
Oh yeah,
for
child
Bitcoin.
pornography.
Very, very interesting.
Yeah.
Saw a story about how some investigators have uncovered how in the transactional information for blockchain that saves the information for Bitcoin, they're embedding pornography and child pornography. So if you are a designated location that saves the blockchain information, you are immediately in violation of the law, unbeknownst to you, for having child pornography on your machine.
Perfect. Hopefully they go after those people like they went after Mega Upload, Kim.com.
And here's the weird thing, is that there was an executive order done back in, I don't know if it was November, saying that anyone that participates in child pornography, exploitation, sex trafficking on United States soil can have their assets seized. So if it's found on a company somewhere, it's possible to go in and just, okay, thank you.
Yeah.
And
How does somebody like a web host like Bluehost or HostGator? So you're telling me if I purchase a site there and start hosting child pornography, that somebody can, I mean, the federal government can just roll up to Bluehost and seize all their assets? I mean, that's just that's mind-boggling to me.
it is.
They want to do.
I mean, it's
Well,
just
it's
nuts.
specifically framed around trafficking and exploitation. So I know it's a weird, but
I mean, look at Apple with their with the iPhoto and iMessage. They better be. I mean, they should be
Oh, yeah.
concerned if that's the case. I mean, obviously the federal government's not going to do anything to them, but man, that's insane.
I actually went and read the executive order because when I first heard the story, I said, no.
It's a way to scare you enough that you will not do it.
Yep. A lot of money out there.
You know, it's like that. Who sent me that that skit from whichever show it was? Say, oh, we don't have any problem with crime. You cook fish too much, jail.
That was me. That's a clip from Parks and Recreation when they've got the ambassador from wherever. And yeah, no, every crime is by jail. Sneeze in the elevator, jail.
Yep.
Cook chicken too little, jail. Cook fish too much,
What
also
we're
jail.
headed for.
Yep.
I'll post it in chat. It's a very funny link.
It's very fun.
Uh-oh.
So
Samsung's did it again.
with
That new S9,
oh
S9 Plus, dead spots
Yep.
on the touchscreen.
Lovely.
yeah, you pay $900, $1,000 for a phone and
No, they're half
dead
price.
spots.
They're incompetent. They really are. I'm so glad I'm done with Android. I mean, just all joking aside, this is my third iPhone in a row now. I really haven't had any. I've had one issue with the phone, and it was that stupid battery issue.
You know, my daughter's phone just stopped charging. What does she need to do? Go over there and pitch a fit?
I mean, she doesn't even need to pitch a fit. Just go. And if she doesn't get help the first time, leave, schedule another appointment, come back and get a different rep. I did it. The third time was the charm for me.
Okay, I'll get you to go with hers.
I mean, I'm very good at. I put up a scene.
It was the facial recognition when you walked in the door, Nick. It alerted them that you were there.
The funniest part.
And they sent out the right guy that time.
Was the lady that helped me. I went on a Saturday, I didn't get help, so then I scheduled another appointment for Sunday. And when I went back on Sunday, the rep that helped me on Saturday was set up next to me with the new rep. I don't think she recognized me, but yeah, I mean, who knows?
Well.
But yep, then I got my help. So yeah, just keep. And for anybody that has an iPhone, if you have an issue that Apple, the first time, most of the time they're pretty good. My phone was incredibly out of warranty, like incredibly, like 2 years out of warranty, or 2 generations rather out of warranty, and I didn't have Apple Care. So yeah, third time's the charm.
Mm-hmm.
But that's again, that's the biggest thing with Android. I know Samsung's going to start working with whatever that cell phone repair store is. Talked about it last week, but there's no way they can beat Apple's customer service. It's impossible. Literally impossible.
Well, the race to give good customer service is appealing to me. That's the cell phone companies are held as highly in esteem as the cable and internet companies are. So anything that improves customer service is a good idea.
Always. Absolutely. And I mean, I had one experience with Apple, and I was impressed. So,
I have go ahead, I'm sorry.
no, but
I was going to say I had a potential subject to talk about when it's time, when it's good time.
anytime.
No? I listen to, you guys know who Clark Howard is, the consumer advocate, and I don't normally listen to his show, but I happened to be out in the car one evening and tuned in his program, and I was listening to the program, and they were talking about online security and online transactions and so on, and he actually recommends that you have a separate machine, separate laptop, in this case a Chromebook, just set aside to use for online purchases, banking, and anything financial. Keep it completely separate from a machine that does social media, browsing, and so on. And I just wanted to throw that out there to see what people think.
And probably disconnected from the internet when you're not using it.
Oh, yeah. No, he said you turn it off. When you're done,
Yeah.
you turn it off.
Yeah.
And he specifically said Chromebook. And
Yeah, because you don't need anything other than a browser.
yep. I think it's a good
But,
idea.
yeah.
I don't have a Chromebook, although I have several Linux machines. But I started thinking about it. I've had my credit card compromised twice in less than a year, where my
Was
card
it
was stolen. Someone duplicated the physical card and tried to buy products somewhere twice. Once in New York, once in Virginia. And literally came into a store with a card and tried to buy something with my card. And I was trying to think, well, how the hell did they get this? Is can they do it? Is it a restaurant that I went to? And then I started to think of, well, what if my machine is compromised? What if I make online purchases and there's a keylogger or something on my machine that I'm not aware of? So I went and scanned everything, and supposedly clean, using multiple scanners.
Mm-hmm.
So I just started thinking, well, what can you do? How can you take this off your list of things to worry about?
Well,
It seems to be,
it's
and I went to several forums with people who also had their cards compromised on a regular basis. And the suggestions were, don't ever let your card out of your sight in a restaurant. I said, well, that's pretty tough.
Yeah.
Depending on the restaurant.
Well, they're getting, that's changing, because now, for example, when you go into Outback, when they bring the table, you punch this code into the app, it pays for it, and you don't even have to wait around. You can get up and leave.
I like that. Yeah, I see that Chili's has that too, where you swipe the card and pay the bill right at the table.
yeah.
But who knows? Maybe
It's
maybe
amazing.
there's a device built into that compromises your card.
Yeah, skimmer.
Yeah, but at least you know where it came from if that happens.
Yeah.
It's amazing how many people get their cards compromised on regular basis. I mean, being that I accept credit cards and for recurring services, it's amazing how many times the same person will call and say, I don't know, my card got compromised, here's a new one. And 2 months later, oh, it got compromised, here's another. Yeah, I don't understand. So far, knock on wood, I never had a card of ours.
Is it Apple Pay that assigns a different transaction ID to every single purchase, so it creates a virtual card number that can only be used once? I know that there was another competing technology like that out there, where it literally creates a temporary token that can only be good for one transaction. And then once it's done, you can't use that number over again. I'm all for that. I just don't know an easy way to do that.
I have no idea.
The only places I see that support Apple Pay might be some retailers and some places where you do you swipe your own. Why can't they be like Europe? They come to the table with a radio-based credit card machine and just swipe it right at the table.
Well, if you look at chains like Red Robin, Applebee's, and like TGI Fridays, they've all got those little kiosk things that are at your table. Most of them do, I think. I think those are the restaurants, and they've got where they kind of like you check out yourself and you can do the tip. I'm a fan of that. I don't like giving my card away.
About isn't that what the chips on card chips do? And the problem is that we haven't implemented the full technology like they have in Europe. They've got chips where you put the card, but you have to have a PIN number associated with it. So ours are actually easier for people to steal the information because of the chip than without the PIN.
And there's a whole bunch of places that still don't even take chip. I mean, I don't remember where I was. It was it wasn't a gas station. It was
a lot of stores. A lot of stores tell you, no, swipe it.
Yeah, God, it was somewhere like somewhat prominent too. It wasn't just like a little mom and pop, and they had Chick-fil-A. They've got the Chick-fil-A doesn't do the chip. They've got in the chip reader they've got a white card that says swipe. They don't do chip, which was mind-boggling to me. But
has to do with what it cost and because to bring new terminals.
They've got the
I
readers
don't
in
know.
there.
No
Yeah.
chips, fries only, no chips.
Yeah. That's what's so funny, man. They've got the reader because they've got
Yeah.
a white card, like a white gift card in the chip thing that says no chip.
Maybe
It's crazy.
Maybe it's the service.
Hamburger.
Yeah.
I went to that place, Mike, in Chicago, the Billy Goat Cafe.
Mm-hmm.
This is years ago, but I went there. The food I had was awful, but it was still fun to be there and see them do their thing. Oh God, that's got to be 30 years ago. Oh,
30 years ago, Jesus.
yeah.
No, that's about 2,000 years ago, Nick.
That's true. And in perception time. Hey, one last thing that I wanted to mention. I've got it on my desk, and if I don't do it now, I'll forget. Is anybody aware of the really cool information you can get from your printer? In this case, a Brother printer. If you if you select, some of them have right on the front.
Mm-hmm.
You can use a series of key clicks,
Yeah.
button clicks to show you printer settings,
Mm-hmm.
and it will give you information like remaining life.
Yep.
Your fuser, your laser, your drum, your toner will all show you. I've got so much fuser life left, laser life, drum life, toner life.
And there's actually also a key click sequence to renew the count. Sometimes
On the Brothers Without a Screen, it's 3 clicks of the go button.
Yes, I did it accidentally the other day, and that's how I got this.
Yeah. I'm looking pretty good at my drum and toner here.
Yeah.
This thing's printed 1,000. I got a hell of a deal. I got this printer for $5. I got a hell of a deal on that thing.
Did you know that they have emulation mode in here? Oh, I don't know what this means. Print menu, and then it shows HP LaserJet, Epson FX850, IBM Pro printer. What are these emulation modes?
no, that's the printer does. What do you call them? Imitate. What is it when somebody imitates somebody else? What do you?
That's an emulation mode.
No, come on. When a comedian
Mimic?
Mimics or
oh shoot, what's the word?
impressions?
Impressions. Yeah. The brother does impressions of the other ones. If you click on it, it'll change the color and the look of the printer.
Oh, so you can pretend to be. So you can pretend to be an Epson FX850 dot matrix printer.
Exactly.
It self-identifies.
Yeah, there you go.
I mean, there are some standards, but I think, as long as it prints, I don't think these days it's important to have it, but I don't know. I never had to use any of these things. It's everything is HP compatible. So
Yeah. That's the
yeah.
first one. That's listed as HP.
Oh, I got to confess something before I forget about it. Did I tell you guys about this new monitor that I bought that won't tilt?
No.
You did mention it. I remember, yeah.
Nick
No,
doesn't listen. But
I don't think
That's true.
I bought a monitor. It was real cheap, and I went to pick it up. They tried to give me some AOC or something. The ad was for a Samsung, and I looked down and said, "Wait a minute, this is not the right one. Get the Samsung." Oh, okay, yeah. So, and it didn't matter. It's probably the same monitor. They went and got the Samsung. It sat here for 3 or 4 months. I finally decided to set up a different computer station over here, so forth. I won't get into all that. But then I grabbed this monitor out of the box and set it up, and the stand would not tilt. You stand the monitor up, and it actually was leaning over to the point that I had to get a 2x4, put it under the front edge of the monitor stand to get the thing to lean back.
You installed it backwards.
Well, that's what I thought. and then I said, well, the heck with it. I'll just put it on a Visa mount. No threads.
What?
Yeah, a lot of them don't have these.
I made that mistake and got screwed by Newegg. Yep.
All right. So last night, just for no reason other than I wanted to, I got the model number of the monitor and put it into Amazon to see what kind of reviews this thing was getting. And interestingly enough, it got good review, but then I get to this one guy who gave it about 3 stars, which I usually don't read the 2 threes or 4s. It's usually the 1s or the 5s. And I get in there. He said, it's a great monitor. He said, the problem is the darn thing, he said, it won't tilt. He said, my wife had to put a book under the front of it and jack it up really high.
And somebody.
And the guy right after that said, well, he said, when I got mine, I had the same problem with it. And he said, I went all through it and looked for the same thing. But guess what? I noticed that it really does tilt. You just have to grab it really hard and pull on it. I said, yeah, here goes. So I went over there and grabbed it really hard and pulled on it, and it tilts just fine.
That's not good if you have to read an Amazon review that says, just pull, don't worry, you're not going to break it. Just rip the monitor.
Well, I'm glad it tilted. I mean, now I'm really happy with the monitor.
Who makes it?
Samsung. I think.
It's really made up of 30 Samsung S7 screens taped together in the back.
Well, it's probably whatever, what I paid for is probably whatever was left over in the trash bin that they put together to try to get some money out of it.
If you don't want to pull hard on it and do it, just use some WD-40.
Yep, it's a Samsung. It's an S24 D300HL.
Hard, what is the HL? Hard. I don't know.
But it worked fine. It's only VGA and HDMI.
Yeah, I think I have a Samsung Sync Master. I think mine's like that too.
I think DVI is going away.
Yeah, it's going away.
Yeah, the cool thing is DisplayPort. That's the cool technology.
I'm not sure that's going to be as it might be more expensive, or there may be a royalty on the technology or something. I'm not sure, because I actually, when I got aggravated about this monitor, I decided to go buy 2 more so that I could mount them on a stand over off of my corner desk. I started looking because the docking station that I have for my work computer, which is an X1 Carbon Lenovo, the docking station on it has 2 DVI ports. Ideally, I'd like to have a computer that has VGA and DVI. To me, those are the quasi-standard. Try to find one. They're out there, but when you try to find one at like a discount, for example, I don't know. I just think it's going away.
Yeah, a lot of them these days are just HDMI and VGA.
Well, one thing I do like about the HDMI part is that it does communicate with the computer. When you turn the computer off, it turns the monitor off.
Oh.
First time I ever tried HDMI, it was fuzzy. I never could get a clear picture.
I have an issue with my Samsung monitor on this computer with HDMI. I have to use it. I use an HDMI to DVI cable to connect it, because the HDMI is weird. It's not crisp. And it doesn't fill up. I can't get it to fill the screen.
There are, what do you call it? Not exceptions to the HDMI standard, but there are
versions,
some loose standards.
Yeah.
That people don't comply with. And I noticed that when I first got my first HDMI cable box, that it would not sync properly with my television. And it turns out that there were different versions of HDMI, number one. And then depending on what cable you had would also make a difference, because the cheaper cables don't support the higher resolution signal, because they don't have enough they really don't have all the pins covered. They leave out certain pins.
That's kind of a thing of the past, though.
Oh, thank goodness, yeah. But it's still, from a standards perspective, it's gotten better. But if you have an older device, it may not sync up properly. Sometimes you'll turn on your cable box and it'll say unsupported resolution.
That's
usually turn the TV on and off.
Yeah, but let me tell you, though, if you ever have that happen, honest to goodness, triple check to make sure both HDMI cable ends are securely connected.
Yeah. But it's a handshake negotiation issue. They're not getting, if the cable is loose, you might be missing a single pin that's not connected right. That is part of the sync process.
And usually the way that works out is that the standard changes, people try to unload all of their old HDMI cables, and people buy them and bring them back to the store. This one's defective. So that typically is a self-eliminating problem.
Amnon picked up some HDMI what they call HDMI-E cables, Amnon? The ones that built in Ethernet?
What
There was a cable you gave me that was specified. It said
Oh no,
HDMI
there's a
standard
lot.
with built-in
Yeah,
Ethernet.
a lot of them now. The ones that are higher quality says that supports Ethernet. There's Ethernet something about it, but I mean it's not the. I don't think it's the Ethernet what we're thinking.
No, it's not native. It's part of the signaling.
Yeah,
it does actually support an Ethernet packet.
I mean, Amazon has good prices on HDMI cables, and on the better ones. But I got one for the camera, the new camera that I got, and to test to make sure that the camera was working because it was I can't remember what it was, mini to standard or mini to micro, whatever. And the camera wouldn't work. And the camera went. I said, I got a dud because it came from eBay. And I looked and I had a converter from one HDMI to the other. So I put that and I put a regular cable and the camera is working just fine. So it was the cable that was bad. And I sent it back and got another one and everything works fine. So yeah, you can get, I mean, there's something about those HDMI cables that's, I mean, everything has to be right.
Well, there's different standards. I mean, that's the thing with digital over analog, well, digital over digital, where it differs from analog is, I mean, you've got different compatibility, and that's why I like, that's not why I like DisplayPort, but the cool thing about DisplayPort is the amount of data it allows you to transfer. I mean, you can do with I don't know, with DisplayPort, I don't know, 3.0 or whatever. I mean, you can do 4K at 120 hertz.
The advantage to manufacturers with DisplayPort is that all they have to do is support DisplayPort, and then you support the actual interface that connects to your device.
Correct.
Yeah, that's in a really small machine like those little Lenovo micro machines. Typically, it's DisplayPort now because you pick the interface. It's a real estate thing.
Yeah, especially like for like for laptops. I wish my laptop had a DisplayPort because it's much easier to convert DisplayPort to what you want than HDMI or VGA. And I'm looking for I've got an adapter that I want to talk about. I just can't find it right now, but I will find it.
I had a situation with that computer that I have here that Ron fixed for me to back up the servers, which has Linux on it, and it has a DisplayPort or VGA. So I had that 7-inch monitor, and I said, and because it's going in the rack, and you never really need to get into it in the local console, I said, I'll just put this one. And I put it on and didn't really take a look at it. I put it in, it had a display. I said, okay. And a couple of days later, because it was still a new installation, Ron was saying, I'm going to go ahead and log into the machine and do such and such. And I'm going and I'm looking, and the text is backwards. Instead of starting on the left and going to the right like English, it was starting on the right and going to the left backwards. You couldn't read it. You had to make sure, you know, its login was actually going whatever. And I said, what the world is going on? I looked at the paper for the monitor. There was nothing to turn it around. So I went ahead and I plugged the regular monitor and everything worked okay. And the only thing is that it had a DisplayPort to HDMI converter, and I'm wondering if that's what's doing it. Never got another cable or whatever to go directly, but it was really strange.
Do you remember, Amnon, they used to make those TV viewing mirror glasses? That's what it's for.
Yeah, I know. I thought about putting a mirror in there and be able to look at it. Back.
People who look, you know, you'd sit there and you'd have a mirror in a little goggle thing so you could lay on the bed and watch television while you're laying flat. That's what it's for.
Yeah. And talking about backwards and small monitors and cables and all that, Spence, you want to do specials?
Wait, before you do
Oh,
specials,
okay. All right. Oh,
I just want to talk about this
Yeah.
real quick.
go ahead.
This is this little adapter I bought. If you have a laptop that has HDMI is great, but especially I ran into a situation where I needed to connect my computer to an older projector, somewhat older projector. It didn't have HDMI, which is common. Most projectors still have VGA.
Yeah.
So I bought this little, it's called a Dino, a DINO, HDMI to VGA adapter, and this thing works perfect. Just plug it into the HDMI on my laptop, hook up a VGA, connect it. It's scaled right to the screen size. I've used it on a couple different monitors. It's worked perfectly.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll post a link in chat. Pretty cool.
So, we ready?
Uh-oh.
I'll take that as a yes. No.
I don't know. Oh, there it is.
Amnon.
I hear him.
That's strange.
Oh, sorry. I lowered the volume. I was muted because I blew my nose. Forgot to put it back up. Sorry.
All right. No problem. So, Amnon, have you got your NCR
Gosh,
really
look
bizarro
at all these-
looking?
Look at all the keys on that
there?
thing.
Can you believe this reminds me of my mother trained as a teller when she was first out of school and worked on a machine that looked like this. She showed me a picture of it one time. It was this insane, crazy adding machine that had all these weird functions on it.
There's no way to do that without looking at the keys.
I think I need
Wow.
even more than that. Isn't that crazy? But
Yeah.
it's an NCR advertisement just to show BF Goodrich using their product, I guess. But oh God, that's crazy. And I don't believe that the Stevie Wonder ad is a real ad. Can you imagine Stevie Wonder? If I could play video games, you bet it would be Atari. That's got to be a spoof.
I don't know.
That's great. But the one about Delta Force below that, that's an absolutely real ad on that online. Who is that guy anyway?
I have no idea.
Looks like a criminal.
Oh, the stare. He's got that psycho stare, right? Mm.
It looks like it was Photoshopped. His
No,
head,
it's real.
his
It's real.
head on the body.
Oh,
Looks,
yeah, it could be.
it's like a weird angle.
It looks like either a Commodore 64 or a VIC-20. I can't tell.
Yeah.
I have to look at the function keys to tell which one it was. But amazing. See, Amnon, they were time traveling. They have a picture, a recent picture of you back in the 1980s on that
Yeah.
TV. It's incredible. Okay,
All right.
so Computers 2K Now specials from March 24th, 2018. Starting with Best Buy, we've got an entry-level Asus 15.6-inch laptop. This is an Intel Pentium, but it is a quad-core for $219, $60 off. So if you're looking for I guess you could call it a disposable machine, but something to sit around at on the coffee table for web browsing and so on. I guess not to be used for financial transactions, right? But here you go. 4 gig of memory. I think it's a 500 gig hard drive. $60 off. Office Depot has an HP 15.6 Intel Core i3 laptop for $329, which is $170 off the regular price. And Staples has a Dell Core i5 laptop, 15.6 inch, $200 off of $499. Desktops, we've got at Best Buy an HP Slimline AMD A8 4 gig machine for $299.99, save $50. Office Depot has an HP Slim AMD A9 desktop for $379, which is $100 off. And Staples has HP Slimline Intel Pentium quad-core machine, entry-level machine, for $269.99, 45 off. All of those very good for the environment, whatever environment you've got for an entry-level machine. Pretty good. And these are, when I say slimline, they're not the same size as a regular tower. Obviously, they're going to be smaller.
Small footprint.
Yeah, small footprint. Size 10 instead of a size 13. Tablets. Best Buy has the Digiland 8-inch tablet, 8 gig of memory for $49.99, 20 off. Office Depot, and now remember when it shows the different color background in the designator there, it's got the O with a yellow background. It means it's not part of their ad. It's part of their website advertising. So sometimes the stuff is not on sale, but in this case, New Vision, 8-inch, 1 gig, 1 gig of memory, 16 gig storage, Android tablet for $69.99, which is 10 off. And although I'm not a big fan of handing a tablet to a child, if you are going to use tablets as part of education for a child, controlled, they do have a Fire HD 8 Kids Edition tablet, 8-inch tablet, 32 gig of memory for $99. That's $30 off at Staples.
Yeah, the kid needs 32 gig.
Oh, different versions of a kid's game can you have?
Yeah.
Some of them, I'm sure, are pretty complicated. All right, networking. Best Buy has a Linksys MaxStream AC2200 tri-band Wi-Fi router for $169. That's 30 off. That looks like it would fly if you had enough air going across it, right? It looks like wings. Have them in the right attitude. Office Depot has all of the Linksys routers and range extenders, 20% off. I believe that's online. I don't know about the store. You'd have to check. And Staples has a Netgear AC1900 Nighthawk smart Wi-Fi router for $149. That's 30 off. Storage. I originally had, if you look here, it's just storage, and then right below it, it shows a SanDisk USB thumb drive. I actually had it in storage there first, the SanDisk product, and I saw this Western Digital. I said, well, I'm going to move the SanDisk because I think it's a good deal, but I have to show this Western Digital 4 terabyte USB 3.0 drive, $99. It is half price, normally $199 for 4 terabytes. That's a deal. If you're looking for storage and you can spend $100, you're not limited to the real entry-level stuff. By far, this would be a good deal. And if you have one of the new routers that has USB device sharing, you can plug this into that port and now have it show up on your network, and now you have a network drive. Very simple. Office Depot Office Max has a Western Digital 4 terabyte portable USB 3.0 for $119.99. Also a good deal for a portable drive, and that's 40 off the regular price. Seagate Backup Plus 2 terabyte for $64.99 at Staples. That's 15 off. Under accessories, we've got at Best Buy SanDisk UltraFit 64 gig USB 3.0 flash drive, which is a tiny, it's like the dongle you have for your mouse, or a little Bluetooth adapter that would plug into your laptop. So basically you plug it in there and you leave it there. $17.99, $42 off the regular price. Office Depot has a Logitech MK320 wireless desktop. This is keyboard and mouse, mid-grade, because it does have the extra function keys across the top, multimedia function keys. $24.99, 15 off the regular price. And Staples has the Logitech Keys to Go Ultra Portable Keyboard for iOS devices, for tablets and phones, for $39, which is $30 off the regular price. Monitors. We've got Best Buy. We have an Acer 27-inch monitor for $149, which is $100 off. It has a nice size monitor. I don't know if you could buy a 27-inch TV for that cheap. I guess you probably could. A no-name, an Element brand or something like that. Office Depot Office Max has a 22-inch for $99. That's $30 off. And Staples has a 23.8-inch Acer for $99, which is $50 off. Printers and scanners at Best Buy, we've got an HP OfficeJet Pro 6978 wireless all-in-one for $99, which is $80 off. Office Depot has a Canon Pixma MX Force 92 inkjet printer for $49. That's half price, 50 off. And Staples has the Brother HL L2770 DW duplex and wireless printer, compact monochrome laser. This will be network capable, also USB. 99 bucks is 30 off.
That's a deal. Bought one of those.
Yes, they are great printers. They're really, if you're really price sensitive and you can only go for the one that doesn't have the
it's not just
wireless networking capability, that's fine. But
it's not just price sensitive. It's a good printer.
I believe this one has wired capability, if I'm not
mistaken. It does have Ethernet and as well as wireless
and duplex.
Yep, and automatic duplex.
I mean, I'm very critical of wireless printers. Hers is set up wirelessly in her room because we didn't want to run Ethernet cable up there. I've had nothing but trouble with every wireless printer I've ever used. We haven't used this one a lot, but to my knowledge, it has been no issue at all. It will do the Apple print thing. If it's on your network, you can go to your phone, go to a picture, and hit print or whatever, and it'll print right to that printer.
Unfortunately, my two Brother lasers are too old to support it, so I have to actually have a special app on my phone to print to these, but it still works. Just not as easy as the built-in. Okay, home automation security. Best Buy has really not home automation or security, but I saw this interesting device. It's a square stand for contactless and chip for iPad Pro. So if you run a business and you use Square and you'd like to have a chip reader and contactless reader, here you go, $149.99, save 20 bucks. I see this a lot in retailers. I actually went to the eye doctor the other day and they had a device similar to this for their for purchasing. This was impressive. It's the son of the guy who was my eye doctor for 30 or 27 years living here, who his father retired. His son also became an OD and opened his own business. And he has gone as paperless as he can. He's got his intake forms that are sent around with you as you go through the examination process are all whiteboards. So you basically write it, and when they're done, they wipe it out with a cloth. They don't have to destroy it for HIPAA, and they can use it over again. That was actually pretty cool. Office Depot Office Max has a D-Link DCS 5020L tilt pan camera and how come the price isn't on here? It was supposed to be $99.
Okay.
Well, it was $99. For some reason, it got knocked off. And then Staples has an Amazon Cloud Cam indoor camera for $119. And finally, at Fry's, I know a lot's made about GoPro. Good stuff. I mean, they were the trailblazers. They set the standard. They created the format for these cameras. But you can buy knockoffs that are very capable. I bought my first one a couple years ago on Amazon. I think I paid $79 for it. While the menu is a little confusing, it works really well. So here's one of those knockoffs. It's a Naxa 4K action camera for $59, and you can get it for $39 if you sign up for a promo code. And then I included some of the interesting accessories you can get. This is for you, Amnon, if you're going to go mobile. So you've got your selfie stick, you've got your action grip, and your head mount. So you're all set. You can get all these things. Let's see, what would it be? It's like $35 for all these accessories. Pretty neat stuff. And they've also got a new line. I've never seen these. I don't know how good they are. But Socomec battery backup systems. They've got a 750 VA for $59, which is 23% off. And they've got a 350 VA for $32, which is 19% off. I just got a couple of APCs for my kids for their birthdays for their internet, because neither of them had a battery backup on their internet stuff. And they do lose power on a regular basis, unfortunately. And finally, Spot satellite GPS messengers. This could be used for a lot of different things. It can be used as an emergency responder. You can track where people go, motion activated or continuous tracking options, 100% satellite technology. So I don't know how well this will work indoors. I mean, it will probably remember the last location you were at before you lost connection to the satellite. So it would be effective and then show up once you leave again. But it does say in the asterisk at the bottom, requires a service contract with this company. But I mean, anything like that where you get an SOS message is nobody's going to do it for free. So it would be good for special applications. It depends on what it costs, but for $119, that's $30 off the regular price. Spot satellite GPS messenger.
Spot. See Spot Run.
That's it. What's that?
See Spot Run.
Yes.
Is it Spot or Spit?
You know, I don't know if this is waterproof. It doesn't say that. Put it funny if they do make animal versions of these things to track animals.
No.
So, well, but an animal isn't going to press the emergency button when it needs help, right?
All
Okay,
right.
so that's it for specials for March 25th. See, I did say 24th in some places, Amnon,
Where?
by mistake. I have 25th on the title page, and I have 24th on the other pages.
Oh, okay. Well, it's fine.
I was in a real
You
coffee
see,
fog
nobody
this
paid
morning.
attention, and you had to mention it.
Oh, it's okay.
Ah, shucks.
None of us is perfect.
Nope.
All righty then.
All righty then. So, talking about Facebook. Again, it is unlikely that Facebook will see a significant drop in its mammoth user base following the Cambridge Analytica scandal. But on Friday, the Delete Facebook campaign, which is seeing an increasingly growing number of people call it quits on the world's largest social network, found its biggest backer, Elon Musk. Responding to WhatsApp co-founder Brian Acton #DeleteFacebook tweet, Musk asked, "What's Facebook?" That was the beginning of a Twitter storm, which saw journalists asking Musk why his companies SpaceX and Tesla maintained their Facebook pages. Shouldn't Musk delete them? Musk agreed. As of this writing, the official Facebook pages of SpaceX and Tesla, both of which had more than 2 million followers, are nowhere to be found. The Facebook page of Solar City is gone too. So, again, these are like statements. You know, it's almost like, in my opinion, Mike, what you were saying earlier, a lot of people are saying it, but you don't know that they're doing it. It's for certain businesses, certain people. This is like cutting your nose in spite of your face. I mean,
people love to hear themselves talk, and they, I'm out. I'm not ever going to do that again. That's not the case. I mean, you might miss somebody who actually had to have an ingrown toenail cut out if you were to cancel your Facebook page.
I mean, inquiring minds want to know.
We're going through a transition, and a societal transition based on technology, and it's not really hard to figure out how things are going to go. Benjamin, by the way, is asking in chat. He said that was a fake story, Amnon. And he was also asking about the Asus laptop. And if you will scroll up in chat, Benjamin, the entire PDF, Nick posted the PDF for all the specials up there if you want to go back and look at all of it. So anyway.
Well, fake news is still going.
Right, and Facebook is probably the largest perpetrator of
Absolutely.
fake news. The only significant movement you will see, which is probably not much, but if you see any, it will be that as they continue to fumigate Facebook and get rid of all the conservatives, people will get tired of reading all the liberal tripe, and they'll decide to go somewhere else.
Yep.
But even there, most of them are soft-wristed.
Thank you, Gary. Um, and again, Facebook and fake news. William Shatner is alive and well. In fact, he turned 87 on Thursday. So the actor was not pleased when he saw an ad on Facebook sharing a story about his alleged death. I mean,
well, that's interesting. So you're bringing up something interesting there. An ad is different than a post.
Yeah,
so somebody
I mean,
was
but,
paying.
right.
That means one of these blogs, some clickbait blog with ads all over it, was paying Facebook, which I mean, it is what it is. I mean, that's the whole point.
Nick, you're technical. People that go there, in many cases, don't know the difference between the two. They look on their page and they see it. So
I'm not talking about it from a.
Yeah. Oh no, I see what you mean.
I'm talking about it from an aspect of course that. I mean, that's a great strategy to drive traffic to your website.
Yeah.
I mean, you can pay Facebook $150 in ads and get 250,000 clicks or 500,000 clicks on your website.
Yeah.
That's a very effective strategy to make some money.
But yeah, it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. And I said again and again, I mean, the only thing I use Facebook is to do the broadcast. And I'm glad I'm not. I'm
talking about Captain Kirk and what's his face? The guy who was Captain Kirk for all, William
Shatner.
Gee whiz. I'm reading a book. It's a really excellent book. Everybody ought to read it. It's called The Last Lecture by Ron. I think his name is pronounced Posh. And it's a Carnegie Mellon computer sciences professor who was diagnosed at age 46 or 47 with pancreatic cancer. He was given 6 to 7 months to 8 months to live, something like that. He decided he wanted to give his last lecture because he married late in life, had children late in life. So at the time that he was given 3 months to live, I think he had a child that was probably 4, 2, and another that was 1, and maybe 5, 3, and 1 or something. But having said that, he wanted to leave some sort of legacy behind about how life should and shouldn't work based on from his perspective and what he was taught and what he learned through the years. What was really interesting to show how life can work out is he went back and thought through how you go through your life and think about what's meant something to you over the years. He thought about as a kid what his objectives in life were. What did he really want to accomplish throughout his life? One of them was either he wanted to be Captain Kirk, or he wanted to meet Captain Kirk, or he was a major Trekkie. I don't remember what it was, just some sort of obsession with Star Trek. And so life went on, and as he grew up, I guess he just was a fan, didn't think a lot about it. But he then, as part of his studies and classes at Carnegie Mellon, got into virtual reality and became apparently somewhat of an international expert or a leader in international and virtual reality. And sure enough, one day he got a call from someone that Shatner wanted to come by and go into his lab and understand virtual reality and see where it was going and how the technology works. So he spent 3 hours in his lab with Shatner.
Interesting.
Who he said was a great guy, but they always say that.
So Nick, you were talking about if they can go and they hold website providers, I mean, responsible for what's their customer.
The child porn argument. Yeah, how they can just they can just. So this
goes. It says in the wake of this week's passage of the Allow States and Victims to Fight Online Sex Trafficking Act, which they call FOSTA, bill in both houses of Congress on Wednesday, Craigslist has removed personals section entirely.
Yeah,
and
that's interesting.
And Reddit has removed some related subreddits, likely out of fear of future lawsuits.
Yeah, very interesting.
So FOSTA, which awaits the signature of President Trump before becoming law, removes some portion of Section 230 of the Communication Decency Act. The landmark 1996 law shields websites operators that host third-party content, such as commenters, for example, from civil liability. The new bill is aimed squarely at Backpage,
Yep.
a notorious website that continues to allow prostitution advertisements and has been under federal scrutiny for years. In a bizarre turn of events, the Department of Justice also warned the House on February 2018 that the bill raises a serious constitutional concern, as it would apply retroactively, a seeming violation of the Constitution's ex post facto clause. Congress passed it anyway. So, I mean, I can see the good thing about passing a law like that, but it cannot be just black and white.
Yeah, well, obviously they're going after Backpage.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, is literally Backpage is it's full of prostitution. It's like
Amazing.
sex trafficking. I mean, that's what Backpage is. I do find it interesting that Craigslist got rid of their personal section. I don't know why Reddit got rid of that. I mean, it's a subreddit.
They must have a good reason.
Because they're a bunch of lefties that will do anything, take advantage of anything to
Maybe.
to get rid of a subreddit they don't like. But yeah, no, I mean, I don't like this whole retrospective thing though. That seems that seems interesting. As somebody that hosts content, stuff like that scares me.
It is. I mean, it scares me.
I mean, for example, on this chat is being hosted on your server, right?
Yeah.
This PHP free chat. If I was to post something in there, are you liable?
Right. You see, that's what I'm saying. It is scary, and it's not only this. I mean, remember all the websites that I host at Delta Force. I mean, I don't look at it to see what.
Oh my God, absolutely. I mean, somebody could have somebody could be serving any amount of illegal information from your servers, and I mean that's just it's a very scary. Obviously, there needs to be something done.
That's the thing. That's what I'm saying. It shouldn't be just black and white. There should be, just like every other, I mean, if there is something on my server, then somebody should say, hey, take care of it, close it down, and I'll be more than glad to.
Yeah, close it down and report whoever's hosting it to.
Right.
I mean, I don't
know.
No,
I'll close it down first.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is scary, but I think it's made to be scary. So
well, I agree, but you also look at the situation where if somebody, for whatever reason, and I'll throw on my tinfoil hat, if the government wants to destroy you or ruin you, really, look at this, look at what we found on your web server.
Yep.
Toodaloo with you. I mean,
right, they could, absolutely.
It's just it's a scary proclamation.
Hey, Mike. He's here. We can't hear.
Yes, I'm not.
Oh, listen to this. Digital downloads had a short run as the top-selling format in the music industry. It took until 2011, a decade after the original iPod came out, for their sales surpassed those of CDs and vinyl records. And they were overtaken by music streaming services just a few years later. Now, digital downloads are once again being outsold by CDs and vinyl, according to the Recording Industry Association of America.
But I suspect that's not what you're reading is not giving you the whole story.
Well, I mean,
the reason they're measuring digital downloads is those are the ones purchased. I think now everybody's stealing them off YouTube.
Well, that doesn't calculate streaming sites. I mean, I couldn't tell you the last time I purchased a song because I just stream everything off Spotify.
Yeah.
I mean, honest to God, it's probably been 5 years since I've purchased a song.
Same here. And I've purchased CDs in the last couple of years.
Yeah, but it's interesting that CDs and records are making a comeback.
No, they're not. They're a novelty.
They are, but I'm saying people my age, they're making a comeback. That it's all the hot thing right now is records.
Good. I've got 1,000 I can sell.
Perfect. Well, you got
So,
anything
so the RIAA released its 2017 year-end revenue report on last Thursday, showing that revenue from digital downloads plummeted 25% to 1.3 billion over the previous year. Revenue from physical products, by contrast, fell just 4% to 1.5 billion. Overall, the music industry grew for a second year straight, and with 8.7 billion in total revenue. It's healthier than it has ever been since 2008, according to the report. And nearly all the growth was the result of the continued surge in paid music subscription services like Spotify and Apple Music. Those services grew by more than 50%, up to 5.7 billion last year, and accounted for nearly two-thirds of the industry's revenue. Physical media accounted for 17%, while digital downloads made up just 15%. I mean, the difference between 17 and 15, come on. I mean, they make it look really bad, but it's not that much.
It's the trend.
But it's amazing that I mean, I don't know anybody that buys vinyl these days. I mean, obviously there's something there. But
now, was it the amount or was it the cost that was the difference?
The income.
Well, so that's an interesting point. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, that's how much they made.
Yeah, but that makes sense, Amnon, because you can buy a song for 99 cents. You can't buy a song off of a CD. You have to pay $16. Or I don't know how much is a CD, Mike? $10 to $20.
10 to 25.
So that makes sense. If Mike wants to listen to one song and has to buy a CD, he's got to pony up $17 if he wants
but
it.
That was always the case. That was always the case.
I haven't listened to music at any significant level in 5 years.
So that kind of makes sense. Plus, these vinyl records are expensive, man. I'll tell you, they're $30 or $40 for a new one.
Wow,
they were awesome. I got a guy that keeps calling me. He wants to buy. I've got some. I had a band back in 1970. We went into a recording studio and made a killer record that should be killed. And these guys are offering me like $3 or $4 per record. And I said, "What do you want them for?" He said, "Because we got collectors that are dying for all of these unheard of band records." So there's some sick puppies out there.
Well, I mean, if collectors can do that, I mean, who knows? There may be something to it.
Nobody. I'd be embarrassed for you to hear the darn thing.
Nah.
Yeah, you hadn't heard it.
Right?
No, they're perfect. A brand new 45 RPM records.
Oh.
I got 2 turntables sitting right here. I don't even know if either one of them works.
Well. And how do you stop people from staying late in the office?
I don't know. I'd love to.
Yeah, I saw this. Yeah.
The government of South Korea. Do you wanna?
I know how they do it. They turn the power to the building off.
They turn off the computers. The government of South Korea's capital is introducing a new initiative to force its employees to leave work on time by powering down all their computers at 8 o'clock in the evening on Friday. It says it is trying to stop a culture of working overtime. South Korea has some of the longest working hours in the world. Government employees there work on an average of 2,739 hours a year, about 1,000 hours more than workers in other developed countries. The Countdown Initiative is the Seoul metropolitan government is set to roll out across 3 phases. So they're going to just turn off the computers, go home.
Schools do this. My high school did this. The computers shut off at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night and would turn back on at 6 o'clock in the morning. Every once in a while, I'd have to go in super early for changing out equipment or whatever for the broadcast.
Yep.
And the computer lab was next door. to the studio, and it would sound with the Macintoshes turning on. It sounded like a damn orchestra with their boom, that stupid sound, them all turning on at the same time. So yeah, I mean they used to do that. I think you could still turn them on once they got shut off, but they did all shut off. I do remember that.
Well, they were trying to save the planet.
This is like the
Stop my Bitcoin mining on all the computers there.
this is like the old skit of the all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurant.
Yeah, you talk about Bitcoin. I can't remember if I've told it here, but my son-in-law a long time ago, long time ago, bought $50 worth of Bitcoin.
Hmm?
I don't remember where he sold it, but the other day he was real curious. Hobie was curious, so he took the amount that he had and ran the numbers on it. If he still held on to it, $11 million.
Oh, come on!
Yeah. He said, "Oh, I'd have sold it at $1 million under any circumstances." I said, "I understand."
Oh, absolutely. And obviously now you'd look at it, but in retrospect, you'd be stupid not to.
Wow!
Go to zero.
Wow! Hmm.
My daughter had some Krispy Kreme stock. I wish I could figure out where it was when we sold it and whether it's split and all that. I bet you that would be a pretty penny.
You want to hear something funny? So, Sean and I have been playing around with this app called Robinhood on the iPhone. It's a stock app, and we've been screwing around with
What does it mean? Stock app.
An app where you can buy and sell stocks. It's meant for small. Yeah, it's meant for small trading stuff. You wouldn't do actual investments on it, but
Okay.
it's cool to jump in and out of penny stocks and just kind of screw around with stuff like that. And him and I were talking yesterday, and he owns a very small share of AMD, and they sent him an email. He gets to vote on the new board of directors because he's a shareholder, and he owned 75 cents worth of a small marijuana company in California, and he said they sent him a Christmas card as an investor in the company. So I thought that he's like, this is great. He goes, it cost them more in postage to send me the damn card than I even own in the company.
I don't understand business.
It's funny.
What he wanted was free samples.
Yeah, so I thought that was pretty fun.
That's the new dividend, as they send you a sample.
A dividend. Yeah.
No. This is kind of bad. The city of Atlanta government has apparently become the victim of a ransomware attack. The city official Twitter account announced that the city government is currently experiencing outages on various customer-facing applications, including some that customers may use to pay bills or access court-related information. According to a report from Atlanta NBC affiliate WXIA, a city employee sent the station a screenshot of the ransom message demanding a payment of $6,800 to unlock each computer or $51,000 to provide all the keys for affected systems. Employees received emails from the City Information Technology Department instructing them to unplug their computers if they notice anything suspicious. Good advice. An internal email shared with WXIA said that the internal systems affected include the city's payroll application. At this time, our Atlanta Information Management team is working diligently with support from Microsoft to resolve the issue. The city spokesperson told Ars Technica, and we are confident that our team of technology professionals will be able to restore applications soon. Their website stayed online. I mean, this is really somebody
Inexcusable.
Unexcusable. Somebody needs to get their ass kicked really
They
hard.
ought to be run. They ought to be. I'm telling you, businesses need to really embrace Linux. They need to reserve Windows computers for those few apps that you can't get that are dedicated just to Windows, or God forbid, even buy an Apple if you have to for graphics or something.
Hmm?
I mean, Windows is turning out to be a joke.
Oh, it's.
What do you mean? It
I,
always was.
I had to go.
I think Windows 7 was fantastic. The only thing I didn't like about it is the vulnerability. But if you don't click on stuff, you don't have to worry about that.
Right.
I had to go and do some the damage for some updates on one of my customers this week that just randomly turned off all file sharing. Unbelievable.
That could be good with a ransomware.
Yeah, I guess. But broke his application and then decided to remove a printer driver from one of the machines. I had it happen on my desktop here where my Ethernet adapter would not connect properly. I've disconnected and reconnected. It would finally work, but turn the machine on, no connection, internet unavailable. What do you mean? So I had to go ahead and reinstall the driver, and then it works fine. But it was right after the update. Now, it was just an Intel gigabit adapter. There was no reason why it should have been broken.
I've got an issue with the Ethernet adapter at my computer at the office. After a couple of days, it doesn't lose internet connection. Like, I can still use Skype and everything else, but I can't browse the internet, so I just have to restart it. Very weird issue.
Go into the properties and make sure you don't have it enabled to turn off. Power can be turned off to save the planet.
In the Ethernet, would that be in the Ethernet adapter settings?
Yeah, the card itself, most of these cards have a check block that says allow Windows to turn off this card to save power.
Let me check that then.
Having trouble reconnecting.
Weird. It's an older computer.
They've been there forever. It doesn't even have to be a laptop.
No, I mean, I'm saying it's an older computer. I don't know if it could be a physical hardware thing too.
I know, but that's the very first thing I would check.
The Broadcom.
So I was in, by the way, I was in a meeting Thursday and Friday, which was top secret. And the interesting part is that a lot of higher ups from major companies were there. I didn't see anybody from Facebook, but
It's not a secret anymore.
yeah, but I didn't say who they were or what they said. But at lunch on Friday, it was interesting because the topic of conversation, most of it was around podcasting. These people were talking about how many podcasts they listened to, what they got out of it. And I was surprised because 5 years ago, one in 100 people listened to podcasts. Now I'd say that the number is climbing significantly because it's on-demand media. There are a lot of good reasons to do it. Plus, there are a lot of good podcasts out there that are worth listening to versus a lot of the crap that Nick and I burned out over the years.
Like my podcast is really good.
I mean, Nick's is the best one. I didn't hear anybody there listening to it, but wasn't really sharp crowd. I mean, they just need to get with the program.
Yeah, I got it.
And what's your podcast?
Never mind.
What podcast?
But anyway, the point being that I was reading some things last night when I got in bed. I was reading some things and it hadn't even occurred to me, but I was looking at, and you'll appreciate this, Spence, I was looking at the AOPA information. I'm a member of the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. And it didn't even occur to me, but it even mentioned in their brochure that they have a Roku channel. So I went to Roku, and sure enough, there was the AOPA channel. Look it up, and they've got all kinds of useful information there. Now, they're kind of amateur producers, but some of the crap we've had to listen to over the last 5 years, we've kind of gotten used to some of that, and I guess it's worth enduring for the benefit of the information. But what I'm saying is that don't overlook Roku when it comes to other ways of getting information beyond just Netflix or the apps that you know are there. Look to see if any of if you've got hobbies or support any kind of organization, look to see if they've got a Roku app. You might be surprised.
We were just talking about
Nick?
this.
Yeah, you want to talk about it?
It's funny that you mentioned that, Mike. Yesterday I was scrolling through, it was either Twitter or Facebook, and it was Facebook, and I'm friends with Leo's wife, Lisa, on Facebook. And she posted a link to their blog about their Roku channel, and Roku's doing some changes to their app infrastructure I believe it starts. I believe it's December 31st of 2018. Apps that are under the old framework, which is all the apps that I built, will no longer work. It's the old framework, and it's the old way of doing apps, and they're getting rid of them. And they're actually not getting their app redone. And the logic behind it, I guess, was they're maintaining it for no reason. They said, if you want to listen to our shows, we're on YouTube, we're on Twitch, there's multiple podcast apps on the Roku. I just thought it was an interesting, I wouldn't call it an endeavor, but an interesting way of looking at it. I mean, you're looking at a group, for people that aren't familiar with Twit, This Week in Tech, twit.tv. I mean, they produce a copious amount of content a week, probably upwards of 20 or 30 hours of content a week, maybe even more. And it was interesting to see that they no longer see value in having a standalone app. And especially with YouTube, I don't know how many of you guys watch or listen to longer form content on YouTube, but the convenient thing about YouTube is I'll be listening to something here the night before a podcast. I'll pause it. When I get to work in the morning, I want to put it on in the background. I open up YouTube. It's loaded at the same time. I load up YouTube on my phone. It's at the same time. If I load up Roku on my Fire TV or my Roku, it's loaded up it's whatever time I paused it at. So it's just kind of an interesting post about having standalone apps versus just using the apps that everybody else uses.
So Alan says YouTube looks very nice on Roku. Does the YouTube app on Roku work?
Oh yeah, it's perfect. And actually, you can Chromecast to it from YouTube in the. Do you have a Roku hooked up in your house right now?
You're asking me that question?
I don't know.
How many do I have, Nick?
Go to YouTube.com and load up a video and see if you see the little Chromecast icon. You can send a YouTube video to any Roku in your house by just going to YouTube, and it'll load it up in the YouTube app.
So go to it on a browser or a phone?
No, on your phone, on your computer right now, go to YouTube.com and click on a video, and if you've got the Chromecast extension, which I think is built into Chrome, you'll see next to the button to expand the video player a little rectangle with a couple of like Wi-Fi signal arrows next to it.
Right. And when you put your cursor on it, says play on TV.
Yep.
I don't have it.
No. On the
you
bottom.
Probably don't have the Chromecast extension.
Mike, on the bottom where it says YouTube in the video, where the settings for the video. What do you have? Don't you have the square to make?
I see what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Theater mode, play on TV. There it is.
Click on that, and it'll show you a list of all of your Rokus.
Go. Look at there.
So, yeah. Now, you don't have to do that because on the Roku, if you're signed into your account, it'll save your timestamps across all your devices. But that's a convenient way to send maybe a stream of a sporting event that you find on your computer.
I watch those a lot.
To hopefully you got that to the Roku pretty easily without having to copy the link or do some weird stuff like that.
Why would you do this other than you just happen to say, well, gosh, this would look great on TV, and that way you don't have to go in and search for it and all that. But normally I would think you'd use the Roku app. You
would. It's part of sometimes streaming sports on YouTube, there'll be unlisted videos, meaning you can't search them, and there's no way to put a link into the Roku. You just have to use the search box. So this way you can cast an unlisted video or unlisted stream to your Roku without. Now the thing is, it requires your computer obviously to stay on, and if you close out of the thing in your computer, I'm pretty sure it closes the stream.
But what about the environment?
I mean, it's important, but I'm not sure.
That's interesting. I never knew that. Wonder if it supports it if you're using Linux. I mean, these are the kinds of Windows-esque things that people will get used to that present issues whenever you're trying to. And if it's an Apple, does it only cast to Apple TV?
Yes, that's the unfortunate part of Apple TV. No, it's a Chrome function, so I do believe it will work with any. It's a Chrome thing, and I believe Chrome across all devices is pretty damn similar. So I would say, yes, that does work on Linux. Works on the phone, too. If you load up YouTube on your phone, you can share it to any
Mm-hmm.
Roku as well.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's a neat little. I've used it maybe a handful of times.
All right, so now listen to this story. The tech industry has a persistent problem with gender inequality, particularly in its leadership ranks. And a new study from LivePerson underscores just how depressingly persistent it truly is. When the company asked a representative sample of 1,000 American consumers whether they could name a famous woman leader in tech, 91.7% of respondents drew a complete blank, while only 8.3% said they could. But wait, it gets worse. Of those 8.3% who said they could name a famous woman tech leader, only 4% actually could. And a quarter of those respondents named who?
Marissa Meyer.
Somebody else.
Carly Fiorina.
Siri and Alexa.
Oh, jeez.
Those are Apple users.
Now, granted, this represents only 10 people in the survey group, but that's 10 people for whom the most famous women in tech is a virtual assistant.
Well, I mean, when you think about it, oh, Marissa Meyer destroyed Yahoo, so.
Well, I mean, but she's still, I mean, she was
the
a leader.
She's still the head of Yahoo?
Yeah, and what's the name? Fiorina?
Yeah, but she's not with HP anymore.
It doesn't matter, but she's still a leader.
Yeah.
So, and here's something else that happens on YouTube. YouTube has quietly introduced tighter restrictions on videos involving weapons,
Right.
becoming the latest battleground in the U.S. gun control debate. YouTube will ban videos that promote or link to websites selling firearms and accessories, including bump stocks, which allow a semi-automatic blah, blah, blah. Additionally, YouTube said it will prohibit videos with instructions on how to assemble firearms. So, I mean, probably all the videos with instructions how to clean and how to are going to be gone.
I'll tell you this, there's a lot of people on YouTube that are, they're gun channels. They review guns, they shoot guns, they tear apart guns. And they're making big bucks, $500,000 a year. I mean, some can make $500,000 a month depending on their views. They are screwed.
No, they're not screwed.
They're not.
It's a great point. So what they're going to do is they now have an absolute financial incentive to create their own channels dedicated to guns, which no gun person who frequents that stuff on YouTube would object to going to the new channel so long as they find out about it. NRA, God, I don't like the NRA, but they, I mean, some organization like that could, all they have to do is be a de facto sponsor of it to get the word out.
They've got NRA TV already. I mean,
that's not what I'm saying. It's just like right now, Facebook has their sites, like gun sites, set on bringing down YouTube. They want Facebook to be the only place you ever go on the internet, including they want to castrate YouTube. So all I'm saying is that people who have, just like gamers, let's suppose that YouTube decided to take down all the gaming people who are making the money they're making. It wouldn't be one end of the 24-hour period. There would be a new site that people would start building and trying to make the next YouTube. I believe that. Remember, I've talked about it many, many times privately and even here. At one point in time, Netscape was drawing the attention of the federal government because they had a monopoly on the web browser, which gave them a monopoly on the internet for most people.
Mm-hmm.
Net who? Where are they now? I mean, it's a joke. And what I'm telling you is that YouTube sort of has that now, and they can keep playing their little games if they want to. Ask Target what happens whenever you play games with people's lives. And they're going to motivate people to be their competition. At some point, these alternative sites will hit the tipping point, and they will be they're not going to put YouTube out of business. That's not what I'm talking
No.
about, and probably won't even hurt them significantly. But they will say that right now, people will tell you, you want to know how to do something, you know how to do woodworking, you want to know how to fix a toolbox, you want to know how to clean a gun, go to YouTube. Well, YouTube's okay for knowing how to mend a doll, but if you want to do what real men do, you're going to have to go to
XYZ.com.
Doesn't Gab have a
Yeah.
video app now?
There you go. There you
Yep.
go.
Yep.
Who has one?
Gab.
Gab has video now.
Gab TV. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not really
It's limited.
yet.
No,
Well,
it's their first iteration of it.
This is the problem, and I'll say, we've.
I mean,
said
there's Nick. There's Twitch.
Well, yeah, but Twitch is no better. I mean, they're owned by Amazon. It's the same thing.
Amazon would love to take YouTube out.
Well, you know what? No, that's the point. That's the same. It's the same thing. It's the same PC narrative. I mean, yeah, they'd love to take YouTube out, but they're not going to take a whole bunch of gun-loving racists on their platform. They don't want that.
Well, but they have all those guns in the games, so it's easier.
Yeah, that movement hasn't. That movement's been tried many a times. It's not taking off.
Well, you got all these movies with guns in them, and then the actresses in the movies are anti-gun. I don't understand.
But realistically, what you would need is a one of the groups on the right, or one of the big donors on the right. A couple of names come to mind. To just invest however many tens of millions of dollars into making the platform, because it's too expensive to serve the content.
Not a lot of money, Nick. It's out there.
No, I'm saying there's a couple of names that come to mind that have that kind of money, but see, they're stupid because they don't see they don't see a value in it.
They will.
Well, you can make the same argument. You look at NPR and you look at how that strives off of donors from the left, and then you look at conservative talk radio, and you can't get conservative business owners to support a conservative message because they're stupid.
I'm not sure it's because I agree with what you're saying. I'm not sure it's stupid. I'm just saying that conservatives are very slow to respond, and unfortunately, they don't believe how organized the opposition is, and they will wake up one day. And
yeah, when the opposition
it is getting better. I have seen some energized campaigns out there to counter people, actually meme generators that are trying to counter some of the stuff that's out there. Mobilizing, the words go out to say, hey, you know, we've got this new thing, we've got to create memes, and people will submit their memes and I actually have a playbook on how to counterattack Twitter attacks.
I mean, realistically, you need a group like Coke to just give a couple of programmers $10 million and say, here you go, build a alternative to YouTube for people on the right, and it would be done.
Sure.
Oh, yeah, maybe.
But it's not going to happen because no, it's not going to happen.
They're not conservative per se, they're libertarian.
So that's the issue.
But I'm telling you that in the gun lobby, the money is there to create a standalone channel that would require government intervention to make sure that May East and May West don't transport that channel across the internet.
You guys heard about the movement for Internet Bill of Rights?
No.
That's something that's emerging now as a new meme.
By whom?
More people than you think, and it's not necessarily politically motivated.
But what? All right, let me ask you, just without getting into a long discussion of it, give me probably any one of the top three objectives of the movement.
I can't. That's the point. It's coming. It's really a grassroots.
And this is my point, in that if you were to ask people right now, particularly conservatives, and by the way, if you're liberal, you won't like the last few minutes of the show, but if you were to ask people what needs to be done, people would say, we need to get YouTube and Facebook to stop killing conservative channels and conservative broadcasters. Well, that bill won't do that because those are private entities. So it won't do what most people are thinking needs to be done.
Well, you've got outfits. The support for this depends on your perspective, obviously, but even AT&T is backing some form of this. That's as of January. There is a site there's a site that does White House petitions. It's under petitions.whitehouse.gov, so I don't know if it's actually a government site. I suppose it is. But there is a petition sitting up there now for people to sign for an Internet Bill of Rights.
I'm initially opposed to it because anytime the government gets involved, it doesn't.
Oh no, I didn't say it was a good idea, but it actually is a counter to the whole call for net neutrality, when they say, well, net neutrality really is just more control.
Yeah, well.
But the problem with this and what falls apart, and I go back to what you've always said, Mike, is that these are private companies. They can do whatever the hell they want.
Yep, bingo, and they should be able to. I mean, nobody's saying that they shouldn't be able to.
Correct.
I mean, that's a big problem with you. Like, I follow a lot of right-leaning people on Twitter. And it's, oh my God, somebody's got to step in here. YouTube can't be like, oh, yes, they can. They should be able to do whatever the hell they want. I mean,
the door swings both ways. Look at all the wackos that wanted Trump's Twitter account shut down.
Yeah.
Yep.
I mean, you can't have it both ways. I mean, you can't.
Look at Apple refusing to put conservative apps on the iPhone.
Yeah, they have the right to do so. I mean, it pisses me off, and I've talked about it, but I mean, at no point am I advocating for the federal government to step in to make them. I mean, that's just ridiculous.
The frustration is our side not being sufficiently organized to create a painful response.
Yeah.
Look, what I see is that the people that are talking about this, at least, are mobilizing to do something instead of just sitting around saying, well, we got snookered again, and we're just going to sit here and take it. So they'll find out that this in its pure form is just as bad as net neutrality. I mean, you can't legislate it, right? Wasn't there something, Nick, you said before about the Koch family? Weren't they looking at buying some media outlet?
They did.
Or a newspaper, right?
They did, but they bought it. I don't believe they bought it.
Shut it down?
No, they didn't buy it as a political arm. They bought it as a business thing, I believe.
Well, yes and no. Part of the problem with the Koch guys, and they're great people. Well, they're some of the smartest business people. Two of the brothers are the smartest business people existed. The problem is that they're in their 80s, and they look at, for example, if they want to affect social change, they try to print a bunch of newspaper articles on it. They still think people read newspapers.
Yeah, I mean, you look at what's going on with Citigroup right now. What did they announce this? They announced this week that they're no longer allowed to buy any. I mean, now you've got people canceling their Citi credit cards.
Not about what? Did I hear this?
Citigroup. Do you have any Citi cards?
I have no idea.
Well, they don't allow.
I do. I saw that, and I wasn't happy about it.
No gun-related purchases.
Okay. If I ever turn in my credit card and they say it's not good for this, they're going to watch me cut it up right on the spot. So I don't care.
No, I don't think
that's threatening. That's threatening the businesses that actually.
Yeah.
The businesses and the people, both sides.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. The
I heard that they're going to hurt the merchants that accept those cards.
It's both.
Interesting.
You as a consumer, they'll decline your transaction, and you as the vendor, they're not allowing the transaction. So I mean, I guess it doesn't really. It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Well, here's my approach to that. Take it for what it's worth. But my credit score is 841. I can probably get a different credit card if I need one.
Yeah, but and the whole argument is, what is the and even Dave Ramsey was talking about this when this came out Thursday or Friday. What is the benefit of this? I mean, you can talk about being politically motivated, but realistically, what is Citi gaining from this?
Political posturing. They're kowtowing to the left.
It's pandering.
I mean, I guess.
People are talking about them.
Here's the thing, yeah, but not in a positive way. But here's the other thing too that's very important to understand when this political issues that are happening with these issues that are happening right now, in that it turns out that we all know what happened to Target whenever they went to their unisex bathrooms and all that stuff, which they never did around here, by the way. But we saw how their business was off just dramatically from year over year. And what happened was as you dig deeply into it, the story I read said that the management of Target was actually they're not extremely political either way, but they tended more to the conservative side than they did to the liberal side. But the article illustrated the effort that was organized to intimidate these people, their families even, if they didn't get with the program and start doing what was right. And out of fear, they capitulated to the left, and that's what they got. You can't win these. You cannot compromise with these people. You have to defeat them.
By the way, one person that we know who's backing Internet Bill of Rights is Andrew Torba.
Oh,
yeah.
I don't know.
But I mean, he is terrible.
We interviewed him. He's the founder of Gab.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a terrible job with Gab, in my opinion. He
could have done more.
He could have done a lot more.
Yeah.
And I respect Andrew Torba. I've talked to him many a times, and he's a great guy.
Name dropper.
But it's just not. It's not going to take off. It's not going to take off. It's just it's not going to happen.
Although, Nick, I am seeing that there are YouTube sites, conservative YouTube sites that have links to both the Twitter and Gab.
I got it. It's just
I'm seeing it. It's better. I mean, I'm pleased to see that I'm actually seeing it in other places.
It's impossible.
I saw him interviewed on a major news program. I think it was Tucker Carlson.
Yeah, Mike's going to say Go ahead, Mike. I mean, you know exactly what it is.
Yeah, all that's fun, except if they don't get the app, they're going to lose a dramatic part of their potential audience.
I can't use it.
They have the app.
They don't. They don't have it.
Well, how come they're saying it on their webpage?
They've got an Android app, but it's an APK. You have to manually install it on your phone.
I thought they said something about it. Let me look here. I thought I saw something about being... yeah, they can't get it in the Google store. I understand.
Right. They can't get it in the Google or the iOS store. I mean,
iOS.
that's the reality of the situation. Is I use Twitter on my phone. That's where I do Twitter. I do social media on my phone. I don't do it on the computer. Or I use something like TweetDeck, which manages my Twitter and my Facebook. But I mean, I just can't get in the habit for the life of me of using a different. It's the same reason I can't use forums. I just can't. I can't get myself in the habit of checking it regularly. It's the same thing with Gab. I think it's a great.
They
great
do
service.
have an installer. You can, but it's not. I'm trying to say the latest iPhone source code release. You can actually get the source code.
You have to compile it yourself, yeah.
You can't, yeah.
And you have to buy an Apple developer account, $100 a year to put it on your phone. I mean, it's just not practical.
Well, you know what? This is where you can actually say that you're infringing businesses because of politics.
It doesn't matter. They
Stopping
can't.
someone from being successful in the marketplace because of politics.
That's good.
Objective.
Yeah, I know.
Gives them a bonus at the end of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, I have no problem with. I have a problem with it, but I have no problem with it in the respect of this is Apple and Google are they can do whatever the hell they want.
It's public opinion will force them, just like Target. If they were conservative, were forced to do something. It could happen.
It could obviously, but Tim Cook stood up there in front of his little lip-wristed crowd.
They'll never do it. I know.
He said, "I don't want conservatives buying Apple products." Now, what kind of CEO would make a statement like that when theoretically 50% of your market is conservative?
One who is fed crap by his subordinates, one who is surrounded by cushioning to not let him know what the market is, and that's alarming. Yeah.
I would have to say that he's part of the problem, not victim of the problem.
I mean, you can look at it. For example, Alex Jones streams live on Gab. He does his 24-hour stream on Gab. But I mean, I just pulled it up. It's the most. There's 5 people watching, and that's the most watched stream on that right now.
That's probably
Because they watch it on the website.
Well, exactly. That's the thing. It's here. I wish it success. I talked with Andrew probably within the last couple of weeks. I was messaging him privately, and we were just talking about whatever. And it's just the reality of the situation. I mean, we were all early adopters on it, but it's limited with how it can take off. There's no app. There's no app.
Yep. We need more government.
Yeah, well, but the problem is people on the right are advocating for that. There's these idiots on the right that are saying, "Oh, the government needs to step in and allow this app." I mean, are you kidding me?
Well, what they do is they run in and they say, "Oh, wait a minute, this is censorship. YouTube, you can't do that. That's unconstitutional." The idiots don't realize that only applies to the government.
Exactly. I mean, it's like I can't even comprehend some of these people. It's like, well, get your head out of the sand, you idiot. Like, that's not how this works. Private companies can do whatever the hell they want, and they should. If you're going to advocate for them not to, you are literally shooting yourself in the foot.
Brian's asking why there's no HTML5 page, but I don't know for what. What's he talking about?
The only HTML5 is YouTube.
No, he's saying for the video players.
Yeah, YouTube. What do you mean?
Yeah, YouTube's HTML5.
I think
Well,
YouTube and
generation.
Mixer, the first one is also HTML5.
Next generation will solve this problem.
I
This
think what
will be
I think
it'll
what
be a tough fight.
I think what we need to have is, I mean, here you guys were talking about a video platform to allow them to go. What we need to have is some kind of a conservative entity that you would have, that you will be able to have an app store, that you'll be able to have the videos, any kind of services, and not done in a wacky way, but organized and check the apps. Just like, I mean, people go to the app store because they figure, oh, it's checked and it's clean and we got nothing to worry about. Why are you shaking your head, Mike?
I mean, I hear what you're saying, but you're overlooking the major problem, and the problem is that Apple holds the key to the warehouse.
Right now it does.
And Brian, I'm wondering, Nick, is Brian saying that you could create, in essence, an HTML5
Video site?
that would be that you would load through the browser on the phone, and you could bypass the need for an app?
I mean, you can already do that with Gab, but it's a pain in the ass to use. I mean, I've got that. I've got a bookmark on my phone for Gab, but there's no notifications. There's no settings. It's like browsing a website. It works, but I'm going to be honest with you. I am not motivated enough to use it.
Years ago, when I wanted to do an app for Nissan Communications, I was told by people here that the best is a shortcut. It is simple, it is fast, it doesn't take any resources. You need to give them a shortcut, and they can just click on it, and that's it. That's what an app. Now, of course, today there's newer stuff, but the website can generate notifications.
It can't, though.
Why not?
Because it's not an app. You can't send a push
No. You can send texts from a website to a phone.
You cannot. If you tweet me right now, my phone on my home screen will pop up with an alert that says at Nissan Communications tweeted you.
Hang out.
Your shortcut that you create on your phone you're loading a website.
I understand. No, it's going to be two different things. It's going to be your messaging program will let you know, just like mine does.
Oh, you mean sending a text message?
Yeah, send a text message.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you could do that. Yeah.
Guys, it's almost 11:20. I got
all right.
going. So.
Yeah, that's good conversation here.
We should keep an after show if you're going to be around for a little
while. We can, but I need to close the show and then
let's do that just a couple minutes. We're all
right. So, any last words show wise?
Oh, yes, I do. And Benjamin's bringing up, remember to watch Stormy Daniels on 60 Minutes tonight. Anderson Cooper is going to be interviewing her. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
All right.
Who?
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Good morning, Kathy, Hannah, Nabil, Mac, Norm, Katie, and Donna. Thanks, everybody, for tuning to Computers 2K Now. We hope you enjoyed and maybe learned something from our time together. Remember to practice safe computing. Back up your hard drive and update your virus scanner. We'll be back here next Sunday at 9, but you can always reach us at computers2know.com. While you're at it, like us on Facebook and follow us and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Tonight at 7, Nick is hosting Against the Norm on Wilmington Big Talker 106.7, and you can listen on TuneIn. See ya.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archive section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Telestream's Wirecast software, StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.